Good morning, everyone. We are going to go ahead and start the webinar on closed captioning for videos. We have Jed Finley here to present. He is the Visual Communication Specialist and Advancement, so he does all of the video for Extension and Outreach, and he's a good resource if you have questions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jed, and he can get started.
Thank you, Christy. All right, hi guys. How you doing today? I've been called into action to talk about closed captioning. So let's just jump right into this. Okay, so the title of the series is the Digital Accessibility Series, and we're talking about closed captioning for video. So we have 7 goals today I want to get through. Okay, first is we want to discuss universal design and captions. And we'll get to that definition soon. Understand all online video needs to be captioned. Discuss archived videos. Integrate captioning into your video workflow. And then we'll get to the fun stuff of learning how to edit captions in YouTube, adding them to Facebook, and unfortunately, I don't think we're going to... Oop, too hot? You guys... Ooh, advancement says we can't hear you.
That could have just been. Is the chat still open? Oh, Lisa says she can hear us. Can you hear us? Are we good? I think, okay, good. I think that might have just been the laptop we're checking everything on. So go ahead.
So
Sorry.
Cindy's in the building too, so maybe it's a building issue. Okay, but the 7th one was Vimeo, guys, but unfortunately Vimeo's having issues today. So we'll check it when we get there, but I don't think we're going to be able to look at Vimeo. And you can contact me directly if it comes to that, dealing with that. So universal design and captions. Okay, universal design. We're designing content to reach all audiences. I thought we added more there. We did. Oh well. I'll talk about it. So we know this is called digital accessibility, but we're kind of redefine that term because we want to use the phrase universal design. And the reason behind that is because accessible design is a design process in which the needs of the people with disabilities are specifically considered. So, but universal design is a broader concept that is a design process usable by all people. The difference is we want to move ahead with making content that everyone can use, and it isn't specific for a certain area, or we're not doing extra things for certain people. Everything we create is therefore seen, heard, understood by all of our audiences, and that's what universal design is talking about. And this all stems from the Americans with Disability Act. Within that, this is kind of a nutshell, good explanation of what it's talking about. No qualified individual with a disability shall, by reason of such disability, be excluded from participation in or be denied the benefits of the services, programs, or activities of a public entity, or be subject to discrimination by any such entity. I love reading. That's making sure that everything is accessible for all to use, especially those who can't get to it. So go ahead.
I'm gonna just jump in here for a minute. There's 3 laws that govern the use of or providing accessibility to people with disabilities that fall under the higher education precinct, but then also the Iowa Board of Regents actually has a policy as well that we have to follow. So we're actually being governed by about 20 different people on what we have to do.
So let's move on from there to the idea of what closed captioning is, and just getting the idea that this all relates back to our theme of universal design. Okay, so closed captioning, because of the ADA, this came about. It's a process of displaying text on a television, video screen, or other visual display to transcribe or translate the dialogue, sound effects, relevant music clues, and other relevant audio information. Other uses have been to provide a textual, alternative language translation of a presentation's primary audio language. And just to let me pop back to this for a second. So just to say that what I want to pull out of there is the dialogue, sound effects, relevant music cues, and other relevant audio information. Those are the things that we're going to need to add into our captions as we do those. So it's not just merely typing down what people say, but making sure that what the people read helps them understand everything that they're missing in the audio. Sound effects, who's saying what when. You'll understand when we get there. Okay. So all video online must be captioned. That's, again, the American Disability Act. The concept is content is services, programs, or activities of a public entity. That's the content that we create, and that's services, programs. That's directly from the ADA. This means that all of our public content must be universally designed. I debated public in that sense.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, because I had a conversation earlier today about that. So just take that as we're going to build this into our workflow. So everything we create in the future is going to be universally used by all and designed to be used by all.
Yes, good.
All right. And for video, what that means is regardless of what platform we put our video content on, be that YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Moodle, PowerPoint presentations, or some other form that we don't even know now. All those areas we add our video content, we have to address universal design in that. So where we are now, let's talk about the videos that already exist online. And I'm sure the panic that everyone has when we're talking about this is instantly, how do I get all those captioned? I have 200 videos on YouTube. Well, first to say that regardless of whatever date it was created, that does need to have captions on it, okay? You have choices of maybe we should delete some video content. Maybe there's video content you have out there that is no longer valuable or shouldn't be available. Things to look at when you're doing that. If it's, well, of course, if the content itself is aged out, you should take it off anyways. But view counts and maybe last time viewed. If it's been 7 years since someone's watched it, maybe it's not valuable right now. Okay. Well, so I'm doing well here. Okay. Universal design in ISU Extension Outreach will work. Oh, right. Okay. So yes, in the future, we're going to try to help you with that online content, the archive content you have now. We're going to work together to get that captioned so it's not a full burden on you. We'll have a lot more information on that in the future. But in the meantime, of course, if you have video content online you want help with now, contact me. We can talk about those certain situations.
Hey, while we're on this subject, do you kind of want to tell everyone where the extension outreach channels are, like what you have been doing in your group to get the main extension outreach channels are, like what kind of progress you've made?
So we'll visit our YouTube channel shortly and see that. And we have close to 700 videos on there that we were able to get captioned within this last year. And that process is something that we'll demonstrate here in a bit. But we also have, I won't say the number of videos on Vimeo, but we have a lot of videos on Vimeo that we're working towards now, working through that process of getting them captioned. And we have a secondary channel, a channel that it's like 70% is captioned right now. But so even in my area, I'm working towards getting those archives captioned as well. So everyone don't panic. We're all working together to get this done. All right. And I've mentioned it before, but our fourth goal is really, and I guess the primary goal for all of us is to incorporate captions into your workflow. The goal is to incorporate captioning into all video content we generate into our video production workflow. And so mainly meaning that once you finish a video, it's just part of when you push send off in an email. It's just the last step you're doing. And to say watch, again, for future education for all staff on integrating captioning into your video production workflow. Okay. So the main core of what we're going to do today is walk through a demo of how to caption things on YouTube. Okay. So, Rob, I'm going to speak out loud as I do this. I'm going to click Stop Sharing here. And I'm going to share my screen. Sharing that. Jump into YouTube. I scoot this off? That's what I want to do. Okay. Welcome to YouTube. Sorry? Oh, right. So for you, yeah, the upper right-hand corner, you've got that box that has 4 arrows pointing out. That's how you can make it full screen for what you're viewing if the detail is too small in what I'm showing on these sites. Okay, I'll try to zoom in too as we go along. But so this is the main page of YouTube. We're currently logged in ourselves in our account here. And this is your kind of navigation that you usually see in videos they're trying to get you to watch. We're going to jump over here to our Creator Studio. And I uploaded this little piece that we're going to work with yesterday. So we're going to take a look at that.
We're here to build a miniature aquaponics system. We've bought all our materials, so let's get going. So this one piece is going to be our front centerpiece. I'm going to measure this again just to make sure. We have 52.5 inches. Now we're going to measure our other 19-inch pieces.
All right, so that piece, just to say, is with Alan Patillo, who's actually left Extension Outreach. It's a mini Ponix piece that we're putting out. And my intern, Jordan Harrison, put that together. She is simply fantastic. So it was just a little clip of stuff she's putting together. But the unique thing about this video, the reason I chose it, is because not only do we have Alan's dialogue that we have to caption, but we have like audio cues and music to do too. So we're right here. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have jumped past that. Forgive me. So I'm going to go down here to edit video. And then this is the editing area. This is where you add titles and descriptions and tags and all sorts of things. But we're going to jump in. Thanks. We're going to jump into the subtitle area up here, the closed captioning subtitle area. And this is what you'll see when you upload a video. I wanted to say, so this is a 40-second piece that I uploaded, and it probably took about 15 minutes for YouTube to generate that English automatic caption that it creates. And that's where the work begins for us in captioning. So you have to understand and build that into your workflow as far as time. If you create an hour-long video that goes to YouTube, you're going to have to calculate in a wait time a bit for them to automatically caption that piece. And that's kind of where we start, saying that we're going to let YouTube automatically caption it to start. Those automatic captions are not complete captions, so they are not sufficient enough for us to say a video is captioned. It does do the work for us in the sense that it captures the words and phrases, as we'll see, but just the point is that does not mean the video is captioned if it's just auto-captioned. So I'm going to click into this published auto-caption area. Here's the captioning it did for us here. Okay. What we want to do is we want to edit those captions. So I'm going to click Edit here. And we've got a space here to add new captions, and we can just jump right in and edit things here too. So what I mentioned at the top is we want to add cues and things for people who can't hear a thing understand what they're seeing. So let's just listen and see what we need to add. All right. So let's just now this is getting into the details of it, but we can add things like and I always put this in parenthetical, but like a click sound. Add it to it, and let's scroll down a little bit because I want you to see this is vital to understand where things are being added. So I can literally drag this over to, so it added it here, and I'm going to move this red cursor down here to understand placement of it. Put it at the beginning, push play. Did you see our click sound come up? That's as quick as it is. We can scoot this blue over to trim it to the point where this sort of happens. And let's just say, let's call it moving sound effects. You guys can correct me as we go. I haven't done any of this before. to it. It added it right on the back end of our clicking. Plan it again to see where it lands. And trim this and just put musical cue. On the back end. Scoot that over a little bit, and then I'm going to add a cutting sound effect right here. Cutting boards sounds. Cutting board sounds. I think I'm going to run that all the way, move it all the way over here. All right. So you get my point. You kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm adding everything, every cue that happens that someone who's watching can't hear or understand. Okay? And then we get right into the basic editing of this. So when you're captioning something as well, as you can see, there's not punctuation or capitalization. So that's things you're going to have to add as you go through this. We're here to build a miniature aquaponics system. We bought all of our materials. So let's get going. And add that. We'll listen back to it, okay?
We're here to build a miniature aquaponics system. We've bought all our materials, so let's get going. So this one piece is going to be our...
All right, that was good. So this one piece is going to be our front center piece. I'm going to measure this again just to make sure we have 52.5 inches. Now we're going to measure our hour. Let's listen to that.
2.5 inches. Now we're going to measure our other 19-inch pieces.
Okay. Just a comma right in there. And I might do this because it continues on
Pieces.
past that. All right. Again, we're going to add music begins. I'm going to add my cutting sound. Okay, and I fade out. All right, so I hope you all really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun going through and editing it. But what I was trying to illustrate, as I said before, again, we're adding sound effects that people hear. Everything that you can hear that is in the video itself, you need to explain in your caption here. So hopefully that helps you understand all the things we're adding to it. Go ahead.
Just for clarification for everybody, a couple of things, like questions for you. If someone is like stuttering just a little bit, how he says hour twice at the end there, can they correct that on the captioning, or does it need to be like I say hum a lot, like like does that need to relate in the captioning as well? Like how 100% correct do they have to be, or is that something you can kind of correct in the captioning?
Yeah, I think the challenge in that situation is you want to make something that is fully understandable for the person watching, but you might be tempted to correct what's in the video as well. So you have to kind of find the balance between the two. And I often, more often than not, as long as I understand when I'm watching it, what is being said, hour, in that sense, I'd leave it in. But you can, how do you feel about that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of both, I think, when I caption. It depends on how often they're doing it. Some people have a tendency to repeat themselves quite a bit. So on those instances, I usually edit at least some of them out so it's not incredibly dependent, like incredibly repetitive. Or someone that says a lot, they are constantly uh, taking a break, like I just said. Yeah. So, um, yeah, I do a little bit of both depending on how repetitive they are. I think I was just wondering what your recommendation was for people on those instances.
No matter what, it's in the end, as long as you look at the captioning, when you go back and look at it, you understand yourself what's being said, and it's clear for the person who's watching the captions. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to ask one more question, just playing devil's advocate here. On the first four captions that you added, they were clearly like very different sounds. Could you theoretically add those all in one caption sentence and then just extend it all the way across so that it covers all of the things that they're going to be hearing, or do they need to be separate like that?
Well, it, again, is with the experience of what you want to get from the video. And for me, I want to understand what I'm seeing and hearing at the exact point that it's happening. So but it's not perfect, of course, right? Because even as Alan was speaking here, we've got at 6 second to 10 second, we've got the "we're here to build a miniature autopocket system." We bought all of our. It's still lumped. It's not every word's being shown as he says it. So I probably wouldn't. I mean, the beginning was probably overkill, but of the captioning that I demonstrated with the sound effects. But I still think that whenever something's happening on screen, you hopefully can see it and read it right then, as opposed to reading about something that happened beforehand or is going to happen soon.
Um, well, I've also captioned a video that was a musical production, like it was a song with music in it. And there were breaks, obviously, in every song. There's like a little musical interlude. Can you put musical interlude or instrumental music, especially when it's not just one specific sound, it's multiple instruments? I mean, how would you handle that situation?
Yeah, I've seen it done multiple times. And we could have put, I guess, sort of like country music description of it. In this case, I didn't know if it was very applicable for this situation, but I have seen it done, yeah, multiple times that way. And it's whatever you can do to help the person watching understand and get an idea of all the audio that they're getting is beneficial.
What are some recommendations that you have for people that are the ones recording and then also captioning? Obviously, this particular automatic caption that was brought up was pretty good. All you really had to do was add some punctuation and capital letters, but I think we've all seen some that is a lot worse than that. So, what are some recommendations for the people that are actually recording that would make this process easier?
You mean in the recording process itself? Well, that's challenging. How about we'll talk about the understanding of how this system works. When it's analyzing your audio, it's the clarity of the audio itself that helps in the auto captioning feature. So if you're submitting to YouTube a video that has muddled audio that's hard to clarify, it's going to suffer in its auto captioning. I think we should strive for good audio regardless, because we want to create something for our clients that is successful in understanding what they're doing or what they're seeing and listening to. So, yeah, clear audio helps this. I'm not sure about advice. Did you have anything in mind?
No, that was
Okay.
basically just speaking clearly and not muttering a lot. Speaking with a good vocal tone, I guess. I mutter quite a bit when I'm talking, so my audio captions are awful.
And often I trail off from my sentences. It makes it challenging in captioning because you're not seeing me in person or understanding and hearing how that's going. So yes, being aware of that when you're making these videos. But you're going to get that too once you make your first few videos, put it up and caption it, and you'll start thinking about the things that you're having to caption and going, oh, maybe I should stop doing this or adjust this part of what I'm doing. Right. In chat, no questions. Okay. Well, so in YouTube, so just to say, this is the starting point for captioning for me. So as we discussed earlier, we want captions to go everywhere, and I'll just make this point right now too. Twitter right now doesn't support captioning in the sense that the platform itself doesn't have the code written into it where you can add in a certain type of file to your video when you add it to it. At least that hasn't since last I checked. And that changes, and just to say, that changes all the time. So even the things we're saying today, a week from now, could change too. So we gotta, and that's the fun of this, right? We're adapting as we go along. We don't, these rules, they're not really hard and fast rules. This is all like a template of ways for us to adapt to what's being put in front of us. Okay, so I mean, the biggest thing is we're going to integrate captions into our workflow and do this, right? And we'll just adapt in the process as it goes along. So again, so going back to what I was saying is we use YouTube to generate those captions, edit those captions, and then we send those same captions we created here to other platforms. Okay, so that's what I'm going to jump into and demonstrate now. So
Did you save those?
Oh yeah.
Don't forget to save.
Yeah, this is great because my zoomed in view, I'm missing things that are visually always there. Okay, so let's go back a bit. So we're still in YouTube right now, and I'm happy with the captions that we created. Okay, so I do need to come up and save it, and I'm gonna jump. Oh, it jumps automatically back into that. So it's thinking over. So it's pending to publish, so it's thinking through those, which is fine. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to my automatic captions here that have already been published. And I'm going to unpublish them. Because we want to make sure, and we don't need to save changes. No. We unpublished, you don't need to save changes. It thinks we're going to edit now. So I'm going to jump back into subtitles here because I pushed unpublished there. And go back, and we should see that I just took them away. That's interesting. Let's jump back in. So I'm jumping into the ones that are published, and they are our edited captions, as you can see to the left here. They're edited correctly. So I'm going to jump back here to make sure that's still the only one published. Very good. So we have the correct captions now published with our video.
We're here to build a...
It's okay. I'm looking for myself to check it over, but thank you. Yes, so if this was live, and by the way, this video is private, it's just for this presentation. If this was live now, we could have these captions published and feel good about them, but we want to then take these same captions over to Facebook. So just to let you know about the process for advancements that we do, and when I create a video, it does first, after the video is finalized, so it goes to YouTube, we privatize it until it gets auto-captioned, then we edit those captions, and then we take that video and put it to Facebook as well, because we end up releasing those at the same time, Facebook and YouTube. So inside of Facebook, and I don't think I need to walk through, do I need to walk through how to find the video library within Facebook? Let's do it. Okay. I gotta zoom back out, guys. It's hard to kind of understand where I am. All right. How can I get back to do I just go back to the regular page? I'm not the Facebook guru, sorry. Greg Wallace is our Facebook guru. So this is our Facebook page for Extension Outreach. I'm going to go on the left side down here to videos. And there's a variety of ways that you can add video content to Facebook. And sorry, this is just kind of how I know to do it, and that's all right. Add video there. That's where you could start to add the video. I already added the video, so I'm going to jump into the video library here. And there's our, and I labeled it this way so Greg wouldn't freak out, just for presentation. This is the same piece. It's not published. That's the vital part of it. When you go to upload, you got to make sure that it doesn't immediately publish because you need to add captions, titles, tags, all those things. So just be aware that it often likes to publish immediately. So here's my video in the video library. I'm going to jump to edit. And I'm sure this is a screen that you guys are often familiar with if you're adding video content. Usually would say publish down here. That's but since we're unpublished, that's how it looks. You add your title, tags, But this is where we want to add captions to it, and it wants an SRT file. Well, how do we get that SRT file? We go back to YouTube, and we go into the caption that we created. And YouTube graciously has added downloadable files for us to send to other sources. So I'm going to go right to SRT, and you can see in my browser down here, yep, that it's downloaded to the computer itself. Show it in the folder. Just right there. I don't navigate on a PC very often, guys, so bear with me. I'm gonna drop it to the desktop actually. Okay. So within this, I've got and by the way, the video has to be exactly the same. If somehow you've put up a different version that's not the same length, these two, this SRT file and the video are not going to talk, and obviously they're not going to match up when they play. So I'm going to click upload, go to the desktop, and oh my, I almost forgot the essential step of this that I should have reviewed before doing this. Can I close this down? Let's see the desktop, right? Good. So this is my Captions SRT file, right? The essential part of this is naming it correctly. So I've been naming my video Cut. That's not the appropriate way you should title videos. This is just for the presentation. They should have a very good descriptive title that entices people to watch it. So think about that. So cut dot en underscore capital U capital S. If you read that, cut dot English en underscore US. That's metadata that the file itself has to have for it to be read correctly by Facebook and by Vimeo.
Is there somewhere that gives that information for people that are looking for that as a reminder? Does YouTube or Facebook remind them of that when they're uploading? Or
it's been a while since I started doing that. I'm sure I just Googled it when I first found it. So it probably, if you just uploaded without the information, I don't think it would take it. Is this something you want me to try?
So there's nothing to remind them to do it.
Besides that, it becomes integrated in your workflow.
It's one of those things you just know.
Magic. No, I'm sure. I'm sure I tried it once. It didn't work, and then I Googled it and figured out how to do it. But it helps direct the file correctly. So you have to adapt each when you download the file, you have to adapt the title of the file.
No, cut is the file name. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then en underscore US. Yeah.
Cut references Allen cutting boards.
Yeah.
Yep.
He just created this funny little name for his video.
Right. It should be called How to Properly Cut Boards in Miniponics with Alan Patillo. You know, it should have.
Always include English and US.
Yeah.
Correct. Always include .en underscore capital U capital S. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
All right. So I'm back to Google. Good. So and now I can go into. Good.
What's that? Does the I file tell them? Yeah. Yay. So the little I next to the video captions, I don't know how well you guys can see all that, but it does remind people to make sure that you put the 2-letter language code and 2-letter country code. So if that's helpful for anyone that doesn't do this all the time and might need a refresher, there is that.
That's a super great way to explain it that a professional would say. File name, then with 2-letter language code, and then underscore 2-letter country code .srt. Very good. And it's a subrip file, which I wasn't aware of either. But SRT file. Okay, so we're gonna select it now. Open. Default language English. And then it uploaded, right? This cropped view has got me all bugged out. Okay. I'm going to check it, guys. So, hold on. Okay, good. Yay.
We're here to build a miniature aquaponics system.
Okay. So what we demonstrated then is it's got the files we generated from YouTube now, the captions we generated from YouTube now attached to it within Facebook, which is great.
So I know we have some people out there that do not use YouTube as their primary video channel. They use Vimeo instead. or something else perhaps. So would you still recommend that they upload to YouTube and just for the auto captioning and the ability to download that caption file?
Okay, so there's lots of options and ways that you can caption files. You could hire a company to do captions for you, send it off and get to a place that maybe it costs $1 a minute or something, $1 finished minute of captioning. Using YouTube is obviously the most cost-effective way, and I'll just tell you the process that we're in going through our Vimeo channel. We are literally downloading the file from Vimeo, uploading to YouTube, auto captioning, editing that caption, downloading the SRT file, then putting it back on Vimeo. It's convoluted a bit, but it's free in the sense that we aren't paying a company to do it, and it's a process that we fully understand, and it's been simplified on our end. So that's our way of doing it. And I would think for the most part with an extension, not a lot of us have funding put in just to handle the captions of videos. And to get back to the point of, I want you to integrate this into your workflow when you're creating this content yourself. So it'd be nice if you didn't have to send it off to a company and wait for that caption to get back to you too. So even though it's kind of a convoluted process. So to address your point though, if they don't have a YouTube channel, they would then start that YouTube channel themselves. And just to make a comment, we don't necessarily want videos going up on YouTube that perhaps, I don't know. Obviously, if it's private content you're using on, because Vimeo gets used basically for private content for the most part. It has a good private system that people make use of. That's why they kind of choose YouTube as opposed to Vimeo. So you just want to ensure if you do the process of adding it to YouTube that you privatize that content, because it defaults to public. It always defaults to public. So if you don't want that content public on YouTube, make sure you make the choice not to make it. So, okay. So we added to YouTube, and I'm going to jump over to Vimeo here, but I have my doubts to see if it's happy yet, because I added the video to it, and Vimeo was like, well, it might take the day to do it because we're not working too well right now. Hey, it's there. Happy days. Okay. So this is Vimeo, and I'm logged in as Extension Outreach here, and I uploaded my video, the exact same file, to Vimeo here, and I don't think it privatized it because oh no. See, that's just mean. It's still yeah, that's interesting. So what I'm doing now, just so you understand what's happening, I'm fully privatizing that video so our general public can't see it because it's just for this presentation. It's still processing that video. So unfortunately I could attempt to add it since I can get into settings, but we won't be able to see if it's actually working. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit. Let's go back. So this is the video itself, and I'm going to click on the video by the name, and usually you'd see the video right here and it'd play, but I'm going to jump under settings for the video, and here in our navigation menu we're going to go to advanced, and we're going to upload captions and subtitles. And here I can, very similar to Facebook, choosing the subrip SRT file that's named correctly, and I want it to default to be an on because that's how I like. I'm gonna choose the language that's in English, captions.
What's the difference between captions and subtitles?
Did you hear that? Robin's sitting in here with us, and she wants to know the difference between captions and subtitles.
That's no. It's I guess I don't know the technical difference. Captions are often read by a certain code built into whatever viewer it's playing on, and it actually relates back more to televisions because a self-contained television has the ability to read captions. So that's that closed captioning system that they created to match it. And subtitles are often associated with maybe like I think in the format of like a DVD. You're building in, they call them subtitles then when they added it to that, or like a foreign film has subtitles and not necessarily captions. But the difference now is muddled more because of online content. It just all get mixed together. So as you can see, they're calling it captions or subtitles here. Is that the right answer?
Are
I don't know.
subtitles more language oriented? Like, if are you
Like a translation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the difference?
It could be.
No, I have no idea, so I'm
Te-
just asking.
There was one point a technical difference, but now I'm not sure that technical difference still exists. So the terminology I think might apply more to translation. But then again, we have now, since you brought that up, I make a comment that so when we add captions to our online content, YouTube, again, being ahead of the game, allows for auto translation for all the videos. So when we add captions to our videos on YouTube, and they cover so many languages. I don't want to say all, of course, but there's so many languages that YouTube can auto translate our content for. So that's why in the universal design system, it's essential for us to incorporate captioning for videos, and there's all other areas that universal design applies to in our work. But for videos, adding captioning to it is essential for one aspect of translating all our videos to other languages. That's great.
Robin looked up what subtitles meant. It says subtitles generally display only what is spoken by a character. They are intended for players who are able to hear but prefer to have the dialogue of the game displayed. Closed captions refers to subtitles for every sound, even falling objects, etc., while subtitles refer to spoken words only.
Yep, and I'd say that that's good. We're using the terminology captions then because we're trying to reach everyone, and probably the person who can't hear at all is the main intended. We want to make sure we reach that person as well. So.
Provide the same experience.
Yep, you got it. All right, so I'm going to save this, but as I said, I don't think we're going to be able to see it in action. Sorry, gang. But trust in me that it would be there reading beautifully, and Vimeo has a very nice caption demonstration system too, so it's great. So we've kind of gone through throwing things on YouTube, editing them, adding captions through SRT files to Facebook and to Vimeo. That's kind of everything I wanted to talk about today. Where else can we go? What else do you want to do?
Does anyone have any questions?
So as you think about the information that Jed and Christy have presented, what I'd like for you to do is to process that information, and then in the chat, if you would, type in one key thing that you are taking away from this presentation. So what's been most helpful for you? What's the aha moment? What's something that you're going to do in the future? Type into the chat, what's one key thing, one highlight for you?
While we're waiting for that, did you mention Snapchat at all?
In the platforms we should address, and it falls under the no support at all yet. How about just a comment on that then, since you brought it up? We're going to continue to strive. It's our job to strive to make sure all of our stuff is universally designed and accessible in all platforms and areas that we add it to. So I guess we want to also be where our audiences are. So we're never going to give up on either one. It's always walking a middle ground to make sure we're still going to be there, but continually searching to make sure we can add stuff universally designed to those areas too. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we cannot control Snapchat or Twitter for sure. So
any of them.
Lisa, that's such a good point. Yes, like these videos do not just apply to social media or YouTube or Vimeo. They most definitely apply to online courses as well, whether it be with Moodle, Blackboard, or Canvas, which we are not using Canvas in Extension and Outreach, but for those who have an appointment with Extension as well as Iowa State who might be using Canvas, Canvas actually has a built-in captioning tool called You Do It, I believe. It I believe is pretty easy to use actually. So I'm not sure if there's an exporting option for caption files or not. That would be something to check into if you're already doing it. But
Go out Moodle itself.
So this is Robin. I have a question. If I'm creating an online course in Moodle and I link to something in YouTube, is there information about who is ultimately responsible to make sure that that is closed captioned? Do we know that, or is that something yet to be determined?
Do you mean a video that we own or someone else
Somebody
owns?
else.
Okay, this is a super good point. If we are linking to it or uploading the video or embedding the video, however you want to say that, we are responsible for providing captioned, accessible, universally designed content, whether it is ours or not. Now, we don't own the video. Obviously, that's part of the problem. We cannot take the video and caption it ourselves because we do not own it. There's a big discussion on fair use laws and all of that right now. Generally, I don't think anyone would be upset with you for captioning their video for them, but it's not something we can actually do. So your only option in those instances is to try to contact the video owner and ask them to caption it for you, or don't provide it. So yeah, it does definitely provide some limitations for us, for sure. But it's just one of those things that you start thinking about. We haven't. I think Jed and I did our first video captioning presentation about a year ago now. I think it was the first one that had ever been done, at least with extension and outreach, to my knowledge anyway, but I haven't been here forever, so I don't know. So ever since then, we've been focusing really heavily on not just video captioning, but universal design as a whole within extension and outreach. And even from a year ago till now, I probably didn't think about that as much as I do right now. Every time I'm helping someone redesign a website is this captioned? If it's not, can we caption it? If we can't, we have to remove it. And that's just good business. And we talk a lot about the legal responsibilities of captioning or accessibility in general, but honestly, it's so much more than that because, it's the right thing to do to provide our information to the biggest group possible. Accessibility is a total civil rights issue. It's not, we shouldn't be doing it just because we're legally required to do it. We should be doing it because it's the right thing to do. It gives us the opportunity to reach all of Iowans instead of some of them, and beyond Iowa as well. So, we were just discussing this, Rachel Tyndall and I, this morning, and 44% of people who are legally blind hold full-time jobs and use JAWS screen reader software as their main software. So that's, I think sometimes we think well, we don't know anyone, so it doesn't apply to us. And that's totally not true. We have this huge group of people that as of right now, for the most part, we're just not hitting at all. And, that's not with our mission statement either. So again, it's just the right thing to do. It's not just the legal aspect. I try not to focus on that much. I mean, yes, legally we're supposed to be doing it, but it's the right thing to do for our organization and the people of Iowa who we're trying to reach. So,
and I'll say this for myself, as my contact info sits there, that this is why I'm here. So if you have video content that's out there already that you are I'm not sure how to get this caption, that's why I'm here. And I want to hear about those things too to help others. I mean, this is a situation where we're all working together for something good and trying to reach that universal design. So don't be afraid and think, oh no, I've got stuff out there I shouldn't. That's not the case. This is an opportunity I'm going to call Jed to help me figure out how we can handle this. And again, to make this point, that stuff that already exists, the archives content, we're going to work with you together on getting that captioned. So it's a two-pronged effort of helping the archives get done, but also educating you how to integrate this into your process.
Yeah, perfect. Are we talking about live videos, I'm guessing? Live videos, we should talk about those. That's
the audible sigh. Yeah, life's challenging. I'll say the answer to your question, advancement, is yes. Cindy, yes. It's always yes. We want everyone to have access to that. But what we can do is do that in post. The acceptable part of what we're saying is we want to be where our audiences are, and we want to always be where our audiences are and interact with them, and not be behind and not be elsewhere. So of course, yes, we're going to create Facebook live content, and capturing that as we do it is at the moment, at this moment too, is like challenging in many ways, financially and getting it set up and all sorts of things. But that's going to change in the future, of course. And our process right now would be, if you go live, you capture an event live, go back once it posts, go back, get that thing captioned correctly, and add those captions to it so people who do find it in the future can see it appropriately.
Yeah, there's I'll just swing in here real quick. There's this Minnesota State, and Jed and I have looked at this, have this really awesome video captioning toolkit. It's about 200 pages though, so it's crazy. But they also recommend, and I believe the Minnesota Judicial Branch's website, I believe, is a good example. But they kind of put a disclaimer, and this is maybe something we could do on the Facebook Live videos, like that we're always trying to provide accessible content, and that they should come back after the live video is over to view the accessible version. So I think it's perfectly fine to be open and honest about, Facebook isn't providing us this option, but we're committed to doing it.
Great point. Yep, and that's inside the post when you begin to post it itself. That's something you could add to it inside the post. This zooming itself camera is great. There, get back out. All right.
Well, if there are no more questions, I guess we will finish the webinar. If you didn't already write down Jed's contact information, he is the person to go to with questions. And we did record this presentation, so as soon as it's available, we'll go ahead and email out the recording of the webinar. It will also be available on IT's website as well as Professional Development's website for later viewing too. So if you have someone else in your office or department who is producing live videos on Facebook, sharing videos on social media, on their websites, on YouTube, on Vimeo, or in courses, they would be, maybe share it with them and make sure that they have a chance to view it as well.
And just to add again, you contact me for any reason at all, but especially if you find something new or interesting relating to this topic. We're all learning as we go with this stuff, so please send it on to me. I'm always looking into how this process works and how we can improve things.
All right, well, we will see you all. Our next webinar is December 14th. Zaira Jordan should be back for that one. She's in India right now presenting. So, she's in India presenting, so she's not here. So Jed graciously filled in for us on his subject matter expert. So December 14th is our next webinar at 10 a.m. Same login as you used to get to this video, the Connect Professional Development Room. And this one will be a demo on producing accessible documents and information about accessible documents as well. So we hope to see you at that as well.